Hello and welcome to Intuitive Clarifications with Natasha. I am here to give you some insights on life's challenges, and I hope to help you negotiate your world through my perspective. So I want you to remember that your truth is your truth. And if you are in the midst of some big changes and all those kinds of things, so happy Thanksgiving to those who live in the United States here. And I know Canada's going to be having theirs here soon. So I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving. And this is why I'm kind of giving this message of gratitude right now, because we're right in the middle of the holiday season for a lot of us. And it depends on what you believe in, depends on what you believe in. Because I want you to remember that, as we go forward, that, we're going into a lot of changes in this planet right now. And the planet is really doing a lot of upgrades. Mother Earth is doing the upgrades. I know for my body has been going through a lot of upgrades too. And it was kind of interesting today how, I've been pretty dizzy lately. And I know I've heard a lot of people saying that they were dizzy, especially with this new moon. It was pretty powerful, right? This new moon was really powerful in its dance. And as we go forward into this walk that we've just, this November has been a lot of shifts and changes because we've had a planet who's gone direct. We've had planets going retrograde. Mercury is one of them. And, Saturn is doing their dance and Uranus is doing their dance. And I haven't kept up on who's where, where's who's. It was just one of those things that it's kind of sometimes hard for us to stay straight in our dance because of the fact that, right now we're all getting kind of like overwhelmed, I'm going to say, with, it's like I was telling people at my day job that we just need to have a day off, right? Where we have nothing to do, nothing planned. There's no holidays to plan for. There's no this or that. It's like, I know a lot of us will have like this Friday after Thanksgiving, some of us have this Friday after Thanksgiving off and but then we're going to be shopping for the holidays, right? Hi, Veronica. Thank you for being here. It's one of those things that, that we're having this list of things to do. And I know that some people are planning on moving, so that's adding to the list. Some people are, feeling like they need to change their jobs. Some people feel like this, some people feel like that. And, we're all in the midst of some big changes. And, and then we have the planets changing on us. Yeah, it's like, why? And then, when I was on the radio, not last Sunday, but the Sunday before that, we were talking about some people who have some animals that are leaving them. They've got 14, 15-year-old cats that are deciding that it's time to leave because we're coming into a big shift into this next year. And I will talk more about it on next shows coming up through into the next year about how, this next year is going to be not like this one, but it might be a little bit more pushy for those that didn't do the dance of moving into their new ideas of new truth in this life, in this year. And so if you haven't done your upgrading in this year, it's going to be a doozy for those who didn't do it for next year. And it's not necessarily that you have to believe in anything. It's not about believing in who you are or what you're doing. It's about trusting that you have your truth. And that's the thing is that, we're going to really see the difference in dimensions coming up. We're going to be able to see that, that person's in the lower vibration, aren't they? And it doesn't mean lower in the sense of icky or stagnant, but it's just that, wow, they are really negative, aren't they? And that's what I mean by the lower vibration. And it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. Now, we all have emotions. We're all going to have these emotions that can pop up. And it's okay to be angry, right? It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be all these things. But if you stay in that concept, in that understanding, that's where we're going to have the scenarios. And like for me, I got stirred up in an anger, frustrational moment, and and it wasn't like but I really used it to empower me to say, no, that's not the way it is. The way that you guys see it is not the way it is. And so there again is checking in with, the realities, the realities of things. And you really notice how some people don't even know what's going on in the realities of their own world, like having a conversation with somebody who's in charge of my job, and they don't even know what I do on a day-to-day basis, right? Or they're making a decision on a certain hour, and they don't even know what happens in that hour, but they're making a big decision for that hour. So it's like, when that happens, I got stirred up. But then I really realized, okay, Natasha, use this anger for moving into a new understanding. And that's the thing is that sometimes when we have these moments where we're angry, use it. It's like anxiety. It's a teller. Anger can be a teller. And I wasn't planning on talking about this because gratitude's going to be the theme of today's show. But this is part of this dance of being in gratitude for your emotions, right? That gratitude about how these emotions can really be part of a good teller. And so I was using my anger for supporting me into getting the decision making mode. Is that the transmitting energy? Yes, it is, sweetie. That is what this transmitting energy is about. Is that it's about why are we in this mindset, and that's okay to be in a mindset. It's okay to be where we're at because the mindset isn't necessarily good or bad or indifferent, but it's a teller. So now for me, when I was in that frustrational moment, I used it in a good place, like here at home. I used it as that when I was talking about it, and I was talking to my husband about it, and I was saying, oh, I'm not, I'm kind of frustrated about this moment, and blah, 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 blah. And he says, well, are you going to talk? You're not going to talk to him that way. I said, no, I'm in a safe place, getting the energies out so that I can maneuver it. And he goes, oh, okay, I get it now. It's not that you're going to talk to him this way. You're just needing to voice your feelings about it. And I said, sure. And then when I went into the meeting, then I was able to say the pros and the cons about certain things. And so there again is taking a breath and interacting with my frustration. Do you see how I changed it? Because anger and frustration are not the same thing. Frustration means that I just don't like this. I'm kind of frustrated about this moment. I'm kind of stirred up about it, but I'm not necessarily angry about it, right? So being in gratitude about how we feel in the moment can be huge. Now, it's a great teller, and I enjoyed that telling moment that I was in because it was like, I was just saying that, I don't really get angry that often. But then I got something that told me that I was angry about it. Isn't that funny? So the universe was making sure that I wasn't going to be angry about something, because it's not necessarily that it's wrong to be angry or frustrated or upset or unsettled about something, but it's about what are you going to do about that energy? What are you going to do about that understanding? And that's, we are responsible for the energy we bring to a room, but others are responsible for how they interact with us. And it was it's a good thing to negotiate. And I wasn't in the meeting by myself. I was in the meeting with somebody who actually, she kind of was blurty about it, but yeah, at the same time though, that's that person and I can respect and honor that. So I didn't really get a chance to say my whole language about things. And because my brain, I've been real dizzy and my brain has been getting rewired and my whole body system is being updated and that kind of stuff. And so I've been a little discombobulated, so I couldn't necessarily have that understanding and the language and, time for me, when I was explaining time, I get mixed up in time. And so I was trying to say, the 45 of the hour or whatever it was, instead of like 9:45 or 10:45 or 1:35 or whatever it was. Right. again, my mind being discombobulated. So she was jumping in and saying things that I wanted to say, but yet I didn't necessarily, I didn't want things to change the way that they're changing, but we got to work with change, right? So going into this, when you are having a moment, when you're having these upset moments, when you're in the moment of frustration or sadness or whatever it is, remember being in gratitude at that time. I'm grateful for this moment. Like for me, there's been times in the past. Oh my gosh, I just had some moments where my husband and I were just joking left and right, where they haven't always been that way, and they may not always be this way. But it's fun to be this little tanter back and forth. And so going into this, that it was funny how, in the past, we've been in disharmony. And you know what I did half the time when we were in disharmony? I said, I'm grateful for this moment. I'm really grateful for how I have been, that this is here to teach me something. What is this here to teach me? I'm so grateful for this harmony to create some balance and some integrity. And that's the thing about life is that when we can say I'm grateful for something, it changes the whole dynamic of the intention, right? It changes the whole dynamic of the intention. And so when you're going into a moment where, it's like when long time ago when my stepson was just in kindergarten or first grade. I forget which grade he was in. He's 37 now. So it shows how long ago it was that his mom was in a lot of disharmony in her life. She was in a lot of negative space. She was in a lot of shame, guilt, and hardship. And, she was pregnant and, just having a hard time. And so, going into this, that she took me to court because I was volunteering in my stepson's class. And, we are so much friends now. So we've come to a healing spot. But, the thing is, though, the thing I was saying on the way to court half the time or to the town that they lived into, I'm so thankful for putting this woman in my life to teach me what I'm meant to learn right now. I'm so grateful for this moment. I'm so grateful for how I'm learning so much at this moment. Thank you for giving me the strength for coming into just being a voice for a loving moment. Thank you for being who we are. Thank you again for putting this woman in my life to teach me what I'm supposed to learn. And so, why that happened is that it turned me out of victimhood. It really helps when you go into gratitude. It keeps you out of victimhood. And victimhood is a rabbit hole that is not the most safest place to be or the most kindest place to be. So when you're in gratitude about where you're going and what you're doing, a lot of times you can move into more of the moving forward step. Just kind of like when I was driving and I was coming into another place, right? I was driving into gratitude so that I could be into a moment. Now, does that mean that life was easy at that time? No. The gratitude of, thank you, God, for putting my feet on my ground when my mom had Lou Gehrig's disease, right? That I was able to maneuver into this gratitude moment so that I could be myself as I move forward. And so I know it's not always easy to be in gratitude when you are sad, when you are in pain, when you are in story, when you are in that disharmony. It's not easy to be in gratitude. But I can tell you, oh my gosh, that is the one thing that got me out of depressed moment. Depression. Oh my gosh, I was in depression. I was in a point in my life where I told my father-in-law, I don't know how to be a wife. I don't know how to be Natasha. I don't know how to be a mom. I don't know how to even run the house anymore. I don't know who I am. And I found gratitude in my little toe. I found gratitude in my second toe in. I found gratitude for my big toe. I found gratitude for the ball of my foot. For the arch of my foot, for the heel of my foot, for for my ankles that kept me pivoting and balanced. And, I found gratitude. And what it did was it made me think of other things. I would lay in bed and think about gratitude for what happened today, even if it was just a moment where I had somebody who can carry my mom to the bathroom, pivot her to onto her potty, right? That was a grateful moment. And grateful for my baby, who was months old at that time, that she had a smile on her face. And so transmitting energy is the word I use about autocorrect. Oh, transmuting. Yes, exactly. Because it is a moment. So thank you, Veronica. So going into this, that gratitude can really move you into a new destiny of where you're at. And the thing about when you are in that negative space, when you are in the moment where you are in a more disharmony of a moment, when you are like in a frustration, anger situation, or you're in a moment of sorrow or pain or whatever it is, that a lot of times when you can say you're grateful for something, that you can't be in gratitude and in sorrow at the same time. You can't be in gratitude and you notice what I'm doing on the other side, right? If you're here on a video, but if you're listening later on a podcast, that it's a moment where you're on this side, but then you're on this side. And so going into this, that when you are in the more painful side of life, it actually, gratitude changes the wiring of your brain. It changes the chemistry of the brain. It changes the chemistry of your tears. Did you know that your tears have one chemistry when you're crying of sorrow or sadness? And also, if you are crying because of happiness, there are different chemistry in your brain, in your tears. And so when you're going into gratitude, it helps. So like for me, it's really important sometimes if you can just say, I'm grateful for something when you are laying in bed at the end of the day. And so you're not sleeping in disharmony. And then when you wake up in the morning, it's like, sometimes it's just nice to say, oh, thank you, eyes, for waking up so I can see my day to day, right? Or thank you, pillow, for holding my head so nicely through the night. Those little gratitudes, it doesn't have to be a big whole undo thing. It's just about being in the gratitude moment. Just like I'm grateful for this blanket, because right now we haven't put on we've been using fireplace. So my spiritual room is kind of cold as we haven't put on the heater yet. So I'm grateful for the blanket. And that's the thing is that, with everything having energy, everything has energy, right? That when you're grateful for something, just think how much now the blanket feels appreciated. Because this blanket, I've had this blanket for a very long time. It's helped me through a lot of disharmony moments. And so going into this, that this blanket has moved from one place to another. And it's a place of that. Who can we be in the moment where we're at? And negativity is around us all the time. It's going to be around us all the time. That's part of this moving out of this 2025. Well, we've been changing, like I've said, since before 1999, moving into 2000. That 2000, we've been doing a lot of this shifting up really since then. And I've been feeling this shift, since I was little. But at the same time, though, that it's like the gas pedal has been on, where the accelerating moment has been on really since 2020. But that 99 to 2000 is when we really turned into that big shift moment. And it's where you can be when you are there. And I'm grateful for every experience I have, nicely done or not so nicely done, because it really helps me learn to who I am. I'm grateful for the moment of where I'm going to be. And I know my husband and I are in a good place right now. And oh my gosh, I'm almost overloading him with gratitude right now. because I just, it's my bucket of love, right? Gratitude is my bucket of love. And so, being in gratitude, it's just, it shifts the whole intention of the realities around us. And, you know, how we want to shift up our understanding. We want to shift up our belief system, right? We want to shift up the chemistry of our brain. We want to change the heart center. Do you know that gratitude can actually change your heartbeat? Gratitude can actually change the vibration of your digestive system. Did you know that? So when you're in gratitude, let's say when you're in gratitude of like, you stubbed your toe, right? You stubbed your toe and ow, 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 ow. I'm grateful for this moment to remind me to be more grounded and paying attention to where I'm at, right? So if you can really find that grateful moment, so for these times of disharmony, that you really can find the meaning of why things happen. Because not that everything happens for a reason, but everything happens for a reason. I include my parents passing away in that story, right? Because there's a reason why they did it in their lifetime, and the reason why how it taught me something in my lifetime. Because they were meant to learn what they needed to learn, right? And then I needed to learn what I needed to learn out of that process. So going into this, and I'm so grateful for that. And you know what I'm so grateful for, to be honest with you right now, is I'm witnessing a lot of people having to say goodbye to their elder parents. Their parents who have really had troubles with being older, right? Well, my parents passed away when they were 56, 57 years old. I missed a lot of years with them. I wish I could have them back. I wish my kids could have had them in their life. But at this moment, since I've already said goodbye to them, I think that in some ways I'm kind of grateful I don't have to say goodbye to them right now. We all have a life. We're all doing things. I know my dad, though, he was so spiritual about things that I think that he really would have loved to see, well, he sees it now through me, or sees it through the spirit world. But there would have been something neat about him and Scott. Scott's here today. And so this show's going to be just a little bit shorter because I have my son here and husband's off work. So I want to honor that moment. But, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. So going into this, how do you really negotiate your world can make a difference in the realities around you? Because I know for me, I am going to choose to be more on the nice wave of life, right? That nice wave of life, than being in the ups and downs like a yo-yo, right? I don't want to be a yo-yo or a major up and down. I want to be, it's kind of like the tide. I want to be a nice, easy tide coming in and a nice, easy tide going out. I don't want to be a storm coming onto the beach, right? Because I want to be in gratitude. Gratitude can really help. So be grateful for, for your moments. Like for me, when I had such bad cramps, being the woman that I am and my disharmony of my hormones, I would say sometimes I'm grateful for this pain because I can now walk to the other side of it. So now for me, like the other day, instead of being dizzy, I'm grateful that I'm dizzy instead of having a migraine. I used to have migraines all the time. Now I'm getting dizzy. I'm more grateful for the dizziness. I can maneuver this, right? I can maneuver this. I don't need to be in pain anymore. I don't need to be in pain. And so being grateful for what we have, even if it is in disharmony, like I've said, that, it can really support you moving into it. So being dizzy, I'm going to go to there. You know what I did today? I just pictured my soul coming down around me. I picture myself being grounded. I picture myself being centered in who I am. Guess what? I wasn't quite as dizzy as I was. Now, I've been getting dizzy when I've been in a lot of energy and a lot of, like going into the grocery store today, there was a lot of energy and I was a little dizzy then. But there again, I centered myself and I pulled my soul down around me. And it doesn't mean that I'm grounded. That to me doesn't mean grounded, but it meant that I was able to be one with my soul instead of my soul being up here and me being up here too, and not necessarily down in my body with my body, right? So when you are in the midst of big changes going on and that kind of thing, being more present in your reality, being more present in this body, you can really move a little bit better into being who you are. I hope that makes sense. So going into this, it's now almost at 30. There I go again. And so I'm going to be channeling. Now, Ezekiel wanted to come through, but I'm not necessarily feeling like Ezekiel. I'm not attached to who he is. And so I was kind of questioning if I should allow him in. I heard that before I came on the show, and I Googled who it was, but I wasn't getting who it was. So he says that he's the father of many transformations on this earth. And I hold the energy of that reality, of that change. So I'm asking my gatekeeper now, should I channel him? Because it's a new channel for me. See, this is how I do. And I'm so grateful that I have my gatekeeper. I'm so grateful that I have this understanding that first I have to ask the questions of where I'm at. See, I'm using gratitude, aren't I? He's part of the ancestry of the earth, my gatekeeper is saying. And he's okay. Okay. So I'm going to channel somebody new tonight. Ezekiel. I thought he was an angel. Well, everybody's got a form of angel. But he's not. And he's honoring me. He does have a vibration of love. So I feel that. Oh, but something's telling me no. Nope. Not going to do it. See, this is how I make sure things are happening. So you're seeing me in the process of deciding who to channel. I'm checking in with Mother Mary right now. He's for later, Mother said. Okay. Okay, Yashua wants to come in. Jesus wants to come in. So I'm going to be channeling Yashua, Jesus, and he will be helping me with talking a little bit about whatever he wants to talk about. So thank you. I will be pulling some oracle cards at the end of this. I might just pull a couple just for where we're at in the world, because it is the night before Thanksgiving and I want to let everybody get to where they need to get to and do what they need to do, plus be where I'm at. So thank you so much. Okay. Whew. Okay, give me a minute. Remember, your truth is your truth. If you don't believe in channeling, remembering that this is just a intention of allowing another energy to come in. Your belief system is your belief system. But if anything, maybe just listen to the words. Listen to what it is, because I know I channeled a message today about what to say. I allow the universe to speak through me. My guides, your guides, our guides. Now it's more of a physical channeling. And so if you are willing to listen, please listen. Oh, dear ones, you have come forward so much, and I am so proud of you. I hope you are proud of yourself. You have come forward into understanding much of your realities. Dear Veronica, you have come forward so much. Oh my gosh. I am just giving you a hug of love for your understandings. Please breathe and remember that no matter where you're at in your story and the story of your dear man that you live with, remembering he is in his journey of his life's story, you are on yours. And you have risen up into a higher vibration, my dear child. And it is time for you to just keep going. He will follow suit if he needs to. And if not, then the dance of, I love that word that she uses, the dance of your reality may not always be in sync, yet at the same time, he is going to be moving into another reality, whatever that means. Don't be stuck on the death part. Remember, reality is a perspective. And so when you're going forward, listen to the journey of what you are supposed to do, right? Would you want to come back to this state if he didn't want to come back? So there is some questions you need to ask your core self. I would love you to come back to this Northwest area because it would be good for your heart center to be back in the vibration of this Washington state, my dear. Yet your truth is yours and your journey is yours. We will talk more soon, believe me. Remembering you can always talk with me, my dear child. Remembering as you go forward into your last walk that there is going to be this questioning. And the message I had for dear Veronica, it will be one for many. And so if you listen to what I was saying, the choices you make are yours. Your situation you have with the people around you, if they are not at your vibration, they may not be in your vibration much longer because they move up or they move into their own. You may, though, sometimes, if it is safe enough, stay in the same home and experience the reality of a 3D emotional state with the person you live with. Yet, when you go into your own reality of sleep, into conversations with others, with understandings of the balance, you may find that you will move up into different vibrations. You can do that. That is part of this new world's beginning, is the understanding that you don't have to be on always one dimension, right? And the gratitude about being where you're at is perfect. It's perfect because when you are in gratitude where you're at, wherever you are at, that is part of acceptance. That is part of the dance of acceptance. You have heard of truth, trust, surrender, and acceptance, right? Gratitude is an acceptance. Gratitude is I am fine where I am at, even if I am not fine. So come into who you are with gratitude. You will move into a different vibration. Your body will move into a different vibration. If you are arthritic in the hand, give gratitude to that hand. It is a form of love. Gratitude is a form of love. And so if you have gratitude for the disharmony, the disharmony will be loved. And what happens to disharmony when it's loved? What happens to an animal that is finally loved for who they are? They may not always enjoy the physicalness of people, right? But this dear one has a Miss Ava. Miss Ava is a feral cat who loves to be touched, but then doesn't touch in a loving way when she decides to touch. She scratches, she hisses, she growls, right? But she wants to be loved. So when this dear one says, I'm grateful for you, Ava dear, I love you, even though you are a little bit grumpy tonight, she looks at her with like, what are you saying to me? I don't understand that because I am so grumpy inside. Yet I know that you love me. I wish I could love you. This is the conversation this dear one feels when she is working with Miss Ava. So when you are with those who have this grumpiness, right? This grumpiness of the realities because they are living in their pain circle, their pain cycle, right? That you can find a balance of the rhythm of where you're at. Gratitude for the experiences, no matter what they were, shifts them into a higher vibration just by witnessing them through different glasses. Gratitude is part of the understanding of where you are when you are feeling illness. Gratitude, gratefulness, the wisdom of all is part of the divine language of healing. So be healed, be honorable for who you are, and remembering that even in the darkest times, that gives everything a chance to be accepted. You're surrendering to the moment so you can trust that it will change when it needs to change. When this dear one fell off a stool and didn't walk on her ankle for almost a summer, guess what she was? She was grateful for it because it gave her a chance to redo her redo her website. It gave her a chance to do these things that she was needing to do. Plus, it gave a chance for her husband to see what she did. There's two sides to every story, right? And being grateful for both can bring wisdom in. Deatee Yashua will be with you so much in this holiday season. Those that are going through grief and those who are not. I will be with you sending love. Remember, love is gratitude. Gratitude is love. So be love, be gratitude, be you, be who you are. Be what you are and be where you are. As you know, the loved ones that have passed on, those little animals that come with you that have moved on, they always come home to love. They're always with love. They're always being loved. I am loving you. Remember that. I am loving you. You are amazing being here in this time of this pivotal change. Remember, love is the moment of shift and change. Sophie. Wow. Oh, I just love channeling him. There's so much love that comes from him. Thank you for being here and witnessing that. Whew. Okay. So, Veronica, I'm going to let you pick cards right now. I'm going to ask you, do you want to do the Fae? Do you want to do the Unicorn? Or do you want to do the ones that we always do, which is, no, I'm not going to do those. The Wisdom of Avalon. So which ones would you want to do? The Fae, the Unicorn, or do you want to do the Wisdom of Avalon? What's your calling, my dear? What's your calling? Or whoever else wants to pop in and say what they want. Whatever feels right to them. The Fae? Okay. That's the ones that were in my hand, by the way. The fairies, the fairies. Oh my gosh. The dance of the fairies. That is so fun. That is so fun. Okay, so Veronica, I'm going to do a card for you. Okay. Okay, fairies. We have not been woken up lately in the cards. What is the message that you would like for Veronica? And anybody else who wants a card, please let me know. Ooh, okay, so. Okay, my dear. Get some exercise is one of the cards. Get some exercise and then walk away. Okay. So get more exercise. As you lovingly become stronger, you begin to feel stronger in all ways, and then walk away. Leave an unhealthy situation and enjoying the new doors that open up as a result. Okay, so I'm getting that, yes, this is all about movement, right? So I'm going to say that it's not necessarily walk away. It's not about the one that you are living with. This is more about just even walking away from the energies. This is what I'm getting intuitively for you. That it's about walking away from the energies. So if something is, like the conversation I was having about, when my husband and I would get in disharmony, that I walked away from the rabbit hole that was wanting to be presented, right? So walking away from that energy can really help the moments where things are at. We don't stay in that story. We don't stay in that moment, because this is all about movement, right? You're in the movement process. And so if you stay in the drama trauma, you're going to be in drama trauma. But if you walk away from the drama trauma, you're going to be in a better place energetically. And so with that's kind of what this means. But get some exercise, get stronger. Like for me, I've been, every time I get a chance to bend down, to pick something up, I go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down about 5 times, because I want to get stronger, right? But this is about that walking away from the situations. And it doesn't mean that when things are in disharmony that you walk away and you go la 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 la. But it's about walking away and not being involved in the politics of it. Listen to the story, have the conversation you need to when you do, but use discernment and walk away from somebody else pulling you in the rabbit hole. Let's say, for an example, like bosses want to pull us in a rabbit hole, like me having that conversation with who I have needed to have working with. Well, I didn't want to be pulled into their drama, so I'm just staying on the outside. So I'm walking away from the drama, but yet at the same time, though, I'm staying in the conversation. Do you hear the difference? I hope so. You have one more card coming here. Does anybody else want a card? Oh, it's 4 from 4. 4 from 4. Because this is finishing off that story, right? So, healing, healed, and healer, right? You're in that process of movement, right? And flower power. So, spend time with flowers and flower essences to increase your personal healing power, because this is that part. This. Do you notice the difference in the get some exercise and walk away, and then healing, healed, healer, healed? That's walking into a new story. So you're walking away from that old story so that you can come into the essence of who you are. Okay. So there's that. Okay, so nobody else is popping up, but I know there's others that are out there and others that will be out there later. So I'm going to pull some oracle cards from the, it's messages from the fairies. It's an old Doreen Virtue book. I know that she's in her weird place, but these cards have been mine, and so there's no attachment to hers, but I just want to name the cards I'm using. Okay, what was the cards that you want to tell? Ready here. What's the message for the universe right now? So these cards want to come up. So the sun and emotional healing. So the masculine energy that we have that is so naive right now, so young in its maturity. You know, there's like there's a lot of immaturity in the masculinity in our world right now, right? A lot of that immaturity. So your son is watched over and protected as he explores his new world, right? But then there's a lot of emotional healing that's going on right now. So remembering that the more you go in and you heal what is, like I had a conversation with some coworkers today, and they were talking about how that, you know, that when they were young, there were so many things that were imprinted that they, even though their life was normal, but the way that they perceived their life was so tainted from what they grew up in, because that's the new normal that they were, right? But that's that emotional healing that's coming in. And like they were talking about that. And I said, you know, the whole balance of this is about your nervous system reacts to the world around you, because that's the emotional basis, your nervous system, right? That knowing and the gut knowing. And so when we're sitting in the gratitude moment and we breathe, take a breath before you react. Let your mind think about it. Let your emotions process it. Let things happen, right? Because it's all about healing the younger masculine energy that's in our world right now. Because the emotional healing card says, as your heart heals the old emotional pain, you will receive blessings and love. Gratitude. So with that, I'm going to go off and spend some time with my family since they are here. I hope you know that you are so loved, and that the wisdom that's going to be coming into this world will help you be who you are meant to be if you take advantage of that. And that's by listening to the animals. That's like by my newsletter out there that I had, that, you know, I was able to talk about some of that. The animals are speaking so loud. Even my feral cat that sleeps on the front porch and does not want me to touch her, I'm learning something from her because she's an animal that's trying to teach me something, right? So believe. I'm so grateful for Ava. She's teaching me a lot, even though I really wanted a cat and Rocky left. I'm so grateful for Rocky now, where he's at. Blessings will come when you notice the blessings are there. I'm Natasha Venter, intuitiveclarifications.com. Looking forward to see you next Wednesday here live again at 4 o'clock Pacific time on my YouTube channel, Natasha Venter IC. And if you would like to listen later, please like, share, or support, because I just would like to know that I can help somebody out there bringing light and love to this planet. Thank you all, and thank you for following, and thank you for being you. And please give yourself a hug, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, because you've done a lot. You've gone a lot. You've gone a lot of places, and it's time to really believe in you. You are going to be okay. This world is going to be okay. Oh, and if you would like an energy almanac, please let me know. I have them in my house, and Veronica, I'm going to send you one, and I will text you about that. Okay? And blessings be. Bye now.